packing job. It is murder.
I also like socks into a rubber bag.
Yeah.
I love to get my socks in a rubber bag. And also, he forgot the timings immediately. He said the sentence, then it went out of his head. It's like, so if you're packing, from what time did I say it was? What are they packing?
So, alright, so you're a sock stuffer, you do a 12-hour shift.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So, you go, oh, come on, Rita, no more socks for me. I don't want to see another sock for a week. Have you got the rubber bag? Don't bring the rubber bag. That's the last thing I want to see.
So what I mean is, when you're on the beach, right, by the sea, between 8 and 8, you're thinking, oh, this time yesterday I was packing socks in a rubber bag. And you can really enjoy it. You can keep going, oh, an hour later you can go, oh, I was packing socks yesterday.
Yeah.
And you can
I'm glad
keep
you enjoyed it, love. Will you stop going about the fucking socks? We're on holiday.
I don't think this marriage is going to last.
Oh, look, Rita, I know, you were packing fucking socks yesterday. Let's not fucking talk about it for a week, you boring bastard. Oh, Rita, what? This time yesterday, I know, you were packing fucking socks in a rubber hunting bag.
No, I was having lunch at this time, you fucking slut.
Oh, Christ almighty.
So what I was saying is, when I was working from 2 in the morning till 6, to really enjoy being off from there, if I was on holiday,
you'd have to get up in the middle of the night
to go, oh, this time yesterday I was playing.
Surely the joy is not having to get up in the middle of the night. Then when you get up and thought, God, thank God I didn't have to get up in the middle of the night like I usually do. I slept through like a normal person. Surely that's the joy.
I think the joy is going, oh, I'm normally doing this at this time.
But that's ridiculous, because if you worked right till 6 a.m, you presumably went to bed and slept in till sort of 3 in the afternoon or something, yeah? So you'd be up at 10 a.m. going, wow, usually I'm asleep, so you get it then. So you're talking shit again.
And the final question from the Inside the Actors Studio questionnaire. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh.
No,
What do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. You hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates. I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns the place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
Okay, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No, you go through the gate, Peter goes, oh, you expected, he's got an appointment, we're going through the God. You go through the God, you go through a few doors, go up the top floor, right, past the executive washroom, into his big office, okay, that overlooks the universe.
And God says, why have you got a doctor with his finger up your arse?
And you go, well, you should know, you caused it.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God, it's an audience with God, you've died, you've gone to heaven, and what would you like God to say to you at that point? He might offer you great wisdom, he might ask you a question, he might tell you something. What would you like him to say?
And is this just one visit? This is like, because it's my first day.
Yeah, it's
I
your
get a
first
chat
day,
with
yeah.
him.
You get a chat with him, yeah.
But after that, I don't.
Well, you
I've never
might
seen
bump
again.
into him at the odd, the
Christmas party.
the AGM.
But I'm not
Yeah.
going to be myself, am I? I'm going to be in shock a little bit, because it's like, I mean, I'm not comfortable on the first day of holiday, because you're in different surroundings, the hotel, you've got to get used to where everything is.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get the best out of me.
Well,
to be
no,
honest.
but you have eternal bliss.
Yeah,
don't you, in heaven?
he's got a long time to get to know you, and he knows everything anyway, so don't worry about it.
So what does he see me then?
What would you want God to say to you? So you walk in there, you're happy with it because you understand now you're dead, and well, it's a whole new world, and everything's all right. You feel great. Like, what am I saying?
Well, anyway,
I'm going along with this drivel.
Yes.
What would you like God to say to you?
All right.
Probably just say, oh, you've done well and that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like.
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's got a little map of the area.
Map,
It's
and
big.
he'll sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Right.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit, a little bit,
Bit cagey.
yeah, a little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away.
He doesn't even want to.
No, but because the thing is, if you've
that's
done all, I've
amazing.
done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just
Yeah.
like the same all over again, but everywhere's white.
So who's the worst person? You go to heaven and it's all great, and God goes, oh look, and here's so and so, and you go, oh my God, what's he doing here?
Yeah. But why would he be introducing me to that one?
No, I'm saying who's the worst person you'd like to see? And
Who
they
do you
go,
just not want to encounter in heaven?
what if he said, right, Carl, you're in heaven, but we've got to teach you a lesson. You're a bit cruel to freaks. Here's Pillow Man. Here's the three-legged juggler. Here's the Elephant Man. They got a few questions.
Yeah, that'd be alright. That'd be
Elephant
fair
Man goes,
enough.
why did you talk about me like that?
I'd say I never had a go at you.
Why did you talk about me eating buns?
But then I'd get a bit annoyed with God. I'd turn Elephant Man onto God. I'd say, well, hang on a minute. At least when he put his head down on that pillar and he did himself in, he did that because he was sick of life. You brought him up here, he's still got the head. Why didn't you give him a better head whilst he was up here in his next life?
Well, he could say the same to you.
Heaven's beginning to sound like one of the worst drink stews ever. It's awful. Everyone's sort of making kind of snipey comments, and you're having to make conversation with people you don't really want to talk to.
Yeah, it is
God, I'm not sure God's the best host.
I mean, I don't know if it is like
Do you
this.
think God would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that he's just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
I love the idea God's bored.
Yeah.
Is there a lot to keep him going? Oh, God.
Playing solitaire on the computer.
I know, yeah.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here, whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
And what are you? So you're presumably you're all naked.
Why has that happened?
Well, because he didn't want Adam and Eve to put clothes on, did he? He was annoyed at the snake and everything, and Eve. So you're all back to nature. You're all naked. So you're all walking around naked, right?
Yeah. But
So you're up there. You're up there just naked, talking to Graham Norton and stuff like that.
I'd have to get used to that. If I go up there and he goes, right, you're welcome to heaven and that, and I go, all right, I've made it to heaven. He goes, yeah, right, put your clothes in the bin bag.
No, you're up there. You're already naked.
Right, I'd go, well, I'd say, this is a bit odd.
Why? You wouldn't worry about it, though, would you?
Yeah, well, it's just odd, isn't it? It's something different, and something different, you know.
Well, no, you've been naked before. You've been naked before.
Yeah, but I don't roam about with people around me.
They're not
naked.
people.
You'd have to get used to that.
They're heavenly creatures.
No, but I'd say, look, can you just leave me for like 4 days just to get used to this idea?
4 days. Okay.
4 days, just to get used to wandering about, and I'd be in the house, and I'd sort of look out. The house that I'm living in.
Well, you don't live in a house in heaven. You just wander around on clouds, don't you? All naked and.
It's getting worse. I don't think it's that good. It's not fair though, because all them lot have been up there ages with like a chance to get a bit of sun on the body and that, so they'll look alright. I'll be wandering about with like underpant marks and stuff.
Underpant marks!
Rick, I know this is something you always get excited about. It's Carl's diary. Can we have a jingle?
I don't believe it! He's got it really done!
Thank you very much. Woke up to the news about an elephant in India that had sore feet, so the locals have made it a big pair of slippers. Tried to look online for a picture, but I couldn't find anything.
Sure, they've made it 2 pairs of slippers.
Well, I'm only going by the facts in the diary, Rick, and I would have thought that they were absolutely bona fide and fact-checked and completely
Yeah.
accurate. I'd be very
Yeah.
surprised if there's any mistakes in here. I'm sure they've done this for an elephant before. I thought elephants have bad memories.
No,
Well, no, but fair enough. I thought elephants have bad memories. If they have, I'm guessing it's going to keep forgetting where it's left them.
I mean, just to get if it's a myth, the myth completely wrong.
Yeah.
Elephants never forget. That's the saying. Not they always forget, so you can buy them slippers every year.
Carl says, I haven't had a pair of slippers for years. He thinks they're dying out.
No, I love slippers.
I love a pair of slippers.
I love a pair of slippers, mate.
Swear socks.
Slidey on a
no.
slidey on a piece of lino.
I know. And what about if you know, maybe opening a brand new box of thumbtacks? You drop them all over the floor. You're trying to pick them up.
Rick, I've got to pop across the road to get some milk, but it's right opposite. I'm surely not going to go in my socks, though, am I? But I don't want to put on the shoes. It's mad.
No. Pop some slippers on.
Well, perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't go out in your slippers,
Why not?
Just across the street, mate, to get some milk.
because they're inside shoes. You don't go rowing about on tarmac in slippers, that's basic.
But you don't have any slippers, so you're just tiptoeing across the street, you know.
I
with
put
your-
my shoes on.
But you can pop out and get the paper and the bottle of milk, can't you, in the slippers without any harm done?
No.
Huh.
Apparently not. Take it into the diary. Tried to have a shower, but there was no water.
I love it when he calls me and things go wrong with the flat.
But I like the fact that he tried to have a shower, but there's no water. How long did it take you before you realised he was there for 20 minutes?
Yeah, after 20 minutes, he said, Suzanne, should I be dry?
Yeah, I'm freezing cold.
Yeah, no, you should be sort of wet and warm. Right, there's no water then. Brilliant.
I called the service charge people, but no one was about. Looked outside, but couldn't see any work going on. Great, innit? In India, they can sort out elephants with shoes. In London, we have no water. Hung about for a bit, but still no sign of any water. Brushed my teeth just using the paste, and used the little bit that was in the kettle to have a wash. I was pretty chuffed that I thought of using that. Suzanne was a bit annoyed because she wanted a cup of tea. She said go across the road and buy a big bottle of water.
Not in your socks. Pop some slippers on.
Go across the road and buy a big bottle of water, she said. I never thought of that. You had a wash using the water
That's
in the bottom of the kettle.
Yeah, well, that's clean, isn't it?
But how much? There's only a little drop in it.
No, it's a big kettle.
So what, did you just wash your face?
Yeah.
So you didn't wash your body or anything?
Your genitals
Well,
were
you couldn't, could
filthy.
you? You've got to look at what you can do with the water available. People in Africa and that short of water aren't wasting it, saying, oh, my feet are a bit dirty. You drink it. What do you mean?
I had a look online to see what's been going on. Scientists say that Everest, brackets, the mountain, just in case you've confused that with any other Everests.
Maybe the double glazing people.
Yeah. You say that scientists say that Everest has grown a bit. The way they were talking about it, you'd have thought it's grown loads. It's only inches.
No, isn't that... They found out that it's actually a couple of inches taller than they first thought because their methods of measuring are more accurate than they were 20 years ago. So it's bigger than they thought it was. It hasn't grown.
No, I just think what's happened is at the bottom, because of like people are always climbing up it, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
So they're sort of wearing away the
Don't
soil at the
talk
bottom.
rubbish.
So
it's
they've
also-
pushed it down.
It's also measured against sea level. It's not measured about when you get... Otherwise they'd just dig a big hole, wouldn't they, and go, right, it's down to here. If the
No, but
peak
does it,
is measured
at the end of
against
the day,
sea
though,
level.
does it matter at the end of the day?
No, but it's just nice to know, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we don't need to know that. It's not going to put anyone off. Like Brian Blessed, who's always climbing up there for fun. He's not going to go, oh, I could handle it last year, but 2 more inches. Forget that. Going to be shattered. So don't worry about it. It doesn't matter how big it is. Something else, though, that's happened since, right? They were climbing up there, and someone got near the top, and they were sort of climbing up like that, holding the cliff edge and that.
And they'd forgotten the flag. They had to go back.
No, their hand hit the bit of rock, and it went like, ding. Like, what's that? Ding, ding. Put another hand up, ding, ding. Piano under there. They don't know how it's got there.
Right, you're talking shit again.
Someone's been tipping.
Well, oh, right.
Up Everest.
Okay.
There's-
The council won't even take away your washing machine unless you pay them. They're not going to sneak up Everest.
No, this is the problem, innit? Because the council won't take anything. People are going, what can we do with this?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Just sneak up Everest. It'll take you 9 days, and you may die. but just pop it up on Everest.
Well, I know for a fact that you've confused a few things there, because I think the piano being found was actually somewhere in Scotland, some kind of moor in Scotland, and they found a piano up there, and everyone said, I don't understand, how's a piano doing up here? And it turned out that some guy, one of these people who like tries to break world records, had dragged a piano up there as some kind of feat of endurance, but thought, I'll be damned if I'm going to take it back again, and just left it up there. It wasn't, bloody tipping or aliens or anything.
My dad used to bury things in the garden because the council used to charge for like washing machines and mangles and cookers and pets. So I'm just thinking in millions of years when they dig that up, they think the dogs used to cook and like do washing up and things. Yeah. I love the idea of burying utensils. I think of the hole big enough to bury a washing machine.
Or a mangle. So whoever kind of bought that house after your dad, they got a little treating store.
Yeah, lovely little themed rockery.
Yeah. The weather is weird this morning. 1 minute it's sunny, then it's thundering, then hailstones, then it's sunny again. People will be saying it's global warming. I don't really know what that means. Everything's changing all the time, innit? I wonder if years ago, when we first came out of the sea and we walked on land upright, did people blame the weather for that?
Good point.
No, it's so stupid.
Yeah, ridiculous.
We didn't come out of the sea and instantly start walking around like humans and go, oh, can you believe it? We were swimming around, we were having a whale of a time. Do you know what? I blame the weather.
No, but now they would if that happened. It's the same way, say like evolution, right? We talk about it a lot, right? Now, years ago, I don't know how it happened, but some whale had legs, right?
Yeah.
This is how it started.
Before he was a whale, yeah. Whales started off with legs,
They were rolling about on the beachfront, right? Anyway, it worked out that, they didn't like it or whatever. Get back in. Now, say if that happened again now, right? Say if someone's born and they always say, don't they, check for lumps and stuff, right? Make sure you haven't got any lumps. Now say,
sorry, who says this and what's the what?
Like magazines and doctors and that.
What,
always say,
when you're first born?
Yeah.
Okay. But arbitrary decision, that answer.
But all I mean is, now, say if like our evolution thing is kind of like the next level is for us to have 3 legs because we're that busy on the world now.
But it doesn't work like that. Why would it work like that?
Because that's nature, innit? It deals with it. If people are getting stressed out and getting achy legs a lot, because they're going, well, what you're doing there is you're using 2 legs like you've got 3. You need another one. But the problem is, say if someone grew a leg now, because it's like, we need 3 legs.
Yeah, but
let him finish.
Okay. People would go, I found a lump, right? And the doctor would go, whip that out. Now that could be a 3rd leg that's growing.
But Carl, evolution doesn't work like that.
It does work
suddenly
like that.
something isn't born with a perfectly formed 3rd leg that can be passed on.
I know it's a lump. It starts off like a lump, and if you left it alone, it would eventually, over a bit of time.
No, over many, many millions of years.
Yeah, but it'd grow as another leg. But we're not letting that happen anymore.
It also wouldn't happen. Limbs don't work like that either.
They do if you keep putting extra pressure on 2 legs.
Carl, you're honestly, what you imagine the process of evolution and natural selection to be is, it's beyond me. It's incredible.
But it depends whatever your surroundings are. That's what you change to, isn't it? Like the.
Well, you don't change to it. You're either selected or you're not. So, what happens is there's a genetic throw-up. So something's born, a llama's born with a slightly longer neck. And if that gets, the leaves that are slightly higher up and it survives, it lives longer, it passes on its genetic material. Soon, if that works, now over millions and millions of years, that they're the dominant species, a new species is thrown up with a slightly longer neck, and so on and so on, and it's gradual. Just a slight advantage.
Sometimes it happens quicker than that. There's been animals that have had eyes and then they go, they don't need them, they go in the space of a fortnight.
What are you talking about?
There's a lizard somewhere where it's roaming about in the dark and it used to have eyes, and they used to be like, why have we got eyes and that? What's the point in having these? Because we're keeping them open. And they were getting more tired. Because at the end of the day, if your eyes are open, do you know what I mean? Blind people can stay up longer than someone with eyes.
Keep going. I want to follow this through to its natural conclusion. Keep going.
There is nothing to do. Right.
The first signs of you getting tired, you go, my eyes, I can hardly keep them open.
Yeah.
So a blind person doesn't get that. because they can roam about with them shut like
So
that.
they never sleep, do they, blind people?
Well, they sleep, but they don't need as much because their eyes aren't stinging.
All guessing, all guesswork, and all nonsense. I mean, all nonsense.
Well, hang on, fair enough. Okay, even if we accept that to be true of blind people, what was happening with the lizards? The lizards were going, I can't believe this is mad. We don't need our eyes. We're down underground. What's the point? Jeff, Bill, let's just no longer use eyes.
Well, they were just like, in a way, it's better if we keep our eyes shut to keep the soil out and stuff. And then over time, they were like, oh, my eyes are stuck. Like the time when...
For a fortnight, you said?
No. It's over hundreds of millions of years. And the other thing is, it's not the case that there's no will to evolution. What happened was that a blind one had no disadvantage, so he was selected better than one with eyes that maybe would find it irritating or getting in the way. You know, just like a snake, it's not a disadvantage for a snake to lose its legs because it's selected, and then it's an advantage because they can get into places that where legs would get in the way.
Like I've said before, right? You see like a little fella, like a midget or a dwarf or something.
Right.
Who's to say that isn't the way we should be?
Do you mean, how do we know that...
Well, everybody looks at them and goes, oh, that little fella. But really, it doesn't matter. If we were all like that, the world would be a better place because it's bigger, so there's more to see. Whereas for us, we're getting bigger all the time. The world isn't growing, so there's less to see for us. So for a midget, the world is brilliant. So I'd say it'd be good if we do go backwards as opposed to forwards. Instead of us getting bigger all
Steve,
the time.
do you want a cup of tea?
No,
I'm not sure, mate. I'll leave you to it.
do you know what I mean now?
We haven't got any... We've only got instant coffee as well.
No,
Yeah, I might pop out for something.
but what I mean is they always say like
I'll make it.
the body's...
No, thanks, mate. But
Tell me when he's finished.
I'm just
no,
saying
no.
the body's getting bigger, and instead of going forward,
no
then-
sugar for me, thanks.
You want milk, though?
Yeah, milk.
yeah.
Some scientists have come up with a cure for bird flu. It's somewhat to do with some stuff in horses. They gave the flu to a mouse and then injected it and it's well again. I think we should stop coming up with cures for things as the germs are just getting stronger and stronger. I reckon by 2020, germs will be so big that we will be able to see them in the air. They will no longer be little particles. You wouldn't swallow one. If you did, it won't be the germ that will kill you. You'll just choke to death.
I think that's how we'll die in the future.
Choking on enormous giant germs. And they'll be what? They'll be like rampaging around the cities, will they?
I'll tell you what, though, right? Now, I'm getting worried now because the stuff he believes and thinks of, I mean, it could be mental. Do you know what I mean, though? Like a proper paranoid sort of... one of those people that assume going to live in a loft covered in tinfoil,
Yeah.
right? And pages of the Bible all the way around the... You know, and
Yeah.
Suzanne's having to put on some sort of spacesuit to come in and give him his beans on toast.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to polish each bean.
That's what
Yeah.
what scientists do, isn't it? They just sort of think ahead of everyone else. That's what I'm doing. And the weird thing is, right, Steve? Sometime last week, there was a science piece which was close to what I'd already said.
Yeah.
That they've got some germs
Sure.
that like eating sugar, right? They stick them in a lunchbox with a chocolate bar. Within an hour, it was gone. Right, and they say now these germs love chocolate and
Did
stuff.
this scientist leave it near this fat scientist that works in the same laboratory? And he went, it's unbelievable. He said, Ted, he went, what? Right, I put the chocolate bar in here with the germ. I came, it's gone. It's amazing. Wow, that's brilliant, that. Do it again. What? Do it again. Leave another one, see if it happens again.
So in the future, you're running around, and germs are.
Eating chocolate.
That's not science. That's Pac-Man. Went to bed and chatted about food to Suzanne. I said it would be best if our bodies could be run on something like coal. That way you people, because you wouldn't be eating for enjoyment, you'd just be eating to give you energy. Suzanne said, why do you always take the nice things out of life?
Because sometimes to think about the future, it's not going to be all good, is it? Look at the way we have to do things now that we sort of go, oh, I'm sick of this. But they do it for your own good.
But you try and change the laws of the universe.
Based on arbitrary whims.
No, but we're
Yeah.
always eating stuff. That's one of the things we do now, isn't it? As soon as we find a new creature like that frog that's been hidden away for like millions of years, you get someone who go, I wonder if we can eat that. Do you know what I mean? It's everything that's walking on the world, they sort of see what powers it's got.
What powers it's got?
No, like if it can jump far, you know, is it poisonous? Can you get anything out of it to save people? And then can we eat it? They're the 3 things that they do with a new frog. Any creature.
So what are they? Can it jump fast?
Yeah. Has
Is
got
it
any
poisonous?
poison in it that you can use to get rid of illnesses?
Yeah.
Can you eat it?
That's the
more and
first 3
more-
questions anyone asks, do
It
they?
seems to be the way, because you look at menus and that, how they're getting bigger and bigger now, and that's only because we're finding more and more species of stuff.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at some stuff on a menu, that octopus you eat, at some point that would have gone through the list of, right, what does it do? What's it got in it? What does that ink do? What's it taste like?
Can it jump?
Can it, whatever, well, they've done tests on it, haven't they, when we said about it being getting in a jam jar or something.
Yeah.
So it's all part of it. Everything's been tested. Everything.
But I think what the thrill is that the first you hear of a newfangled food, do you think that in ancient civilization they didn't do this? They didn't try an oyster or spear a fish or
Yeah, because
eat a
there wasn't
maggot?
that much other stuff knocking about at that time.
Right.
We've got loads of stuff, so why are we messing about with some new frog? It's all like, people just like showing off, don't they? Leave the frogs, let them get busy and have loads of them, eat the chickens, when we run out of them, move on to the frog. Or whatever. But why have all this on the go? Do you know what I mean? It just makes it... I hate going out for a meal now, because it's like, what are you having? Oh, I'm sick of it, look at it all. And then you're forced into people going, oh, have you had the new frog? Yeah, I don't want it, I was happy with chicken. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Have you ever been out, Rick, and someone's been trying to force frog on you?
I've never been forced frog in my life. Although I did go for a meal once with Carl. We went there and he had the Oriental hors d'oeuvres I recommended, right? And he was trying to get this little oyster, right, off the shell, right? And he was going to get stuck to its house, right? And I looked round and his eyes were watering and he was choking and he was drinking water. I said, what? And he said, I ate that. And it was a big blob of wasabi, right? And I said, why did you put it all in at once? He went, he said, I thought it was a mushy pea. Why would they put one mushy pea?
Was it hardcore, the wasabi?
It felt like my head was caving in.
That was just Ricky squeezing it, wasn't it? Between courses.
Trouble with that though is, you know, hot food. Why you get addicted to really hot food is the pain is actually it's killing taste buds, and then endorphins are released in the brain, like, you know, a morphine derivative to sort of go, it's all right, or calm the pain. So you actually get addicted to that sort of, you know, what
But
happens.
why would you want to kill your taste buds? But new ones come back
Well, yeah, I think you
straight away.
Well, I don't know how long it takes. I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, it's just, is that the chef sort of going, oh, I'm serving some right rubbish tonight, give him some of that kusabi.
Kusabi! Oh God, and Tonto! Oh God!
Back to the diary. At lunchtime, I went to a local cafe and had an omelette. An old woman, who was about 70-ish, was in there eating pizza. It didn't look right.
No.
I know what you mean there, actually. Old people eating pizza seems a bit weird. What about an old Italian lady eating pizza? Would that be alright?
No, I'd expect it to have lasagna.
Told Suzanne that I had read that we will have spoken to aliens by the year 2025. Ricky once told me that if a lion could speak English, it still couldn't have a good chat with us because its life is different to ours. If that's true, we've got no chance with an alien. I'd be worried it could read my mind. I had that problem once years ago when I worked in a studio making cassettes. Some mind-reading woman was having some cassettes made. She waited while I did them. She had a small dog. I knew she was trying to read my mind, so I just thought about the dog. I thought that would confuse her, because she wouldn't understand why I was thinking about her dog. There's so many elements in this. There's a woman who can read...
She used to...
Read that again. Read that again. Okay, we're going to have an instant replay
no,
now.
I'll tell you
Any
what- I'll tell you
psychologist
what it is.
listening, or psychiatrist, or just, well, anyone really, listen to this, what Carl's put in his diary. Okay, Steve, away you go.
I'd be worried that an alien could read my mind. I had that problem once years ago, when I worked in a studio making cassettes. Some mind-reading woman was having some cassettes made. She waited while I did them. She had a small dog. I knew she was trying to read my mind, so I just thought about the dog. I thought that would confuse her, because she wouldn't understand why I was thinking about her dog.
That's amazing.
So, firstly, how did you know she was a mind-reading woman?
Everybody who came in having cassettes done, you'd find out about what the job is. So, you know, if it's a band or whatever, it might be a police station needing blank cassettes to interview people.
Yeah.
And she had them to sort of use during a thing where they do mind reading and stuff. So
Right.
you get
A recording
of it.
Yeah.
And she was just there and she was staring at me like that, just looking over. And a dog was sort of looking worried, and they pick up vibes, don't they?
No.
They do.
And why was it looking
What do you
worried?
mean pick up vibes? Depends what you mean by pick up vibes.
Dogs pick up loads of vibes and stuff. I read the other day how they can tell if someone's got cancer and
Well,
that.
they can.
It's one
There's a
voice.
science behind that. They can smell different at a cellular level.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
it's the same
'cause it's
sort of
like
thing.
70 times. But no, they can't go. The dog wouldn't even know you're an idiot. The dog.
The dog was sort of looking weird and stuff.
It
and then
knew.
She
But-
was looking at me.
But were they looking? I'm not being funny. Were they looking at the roundness of your head? Do you
They
think?
were just looking at me, and I was sort of panicking a bit. And the more that I was thinking she's reading my mind, I was thinking she knows that I know that she's reading my mind. So I just stopped thinking about her reading my mind. Thought about the dog
What were you thinking about the dog?
running about on a beach.
He remembers what he was thinking.
No, just so she thought, oh, hang on a minute, it's not his mind, it's the dog's mind I'm picking up.
Oh, so you thought she'd go? Oh no, I'm getting it all tangled up. I've got a cross line here.
But why were you worried that she was reading your mind? Because you weren't thinking of anything unsafe.
Oh, no, don't. Oh, please.
No, I'm just trying to get in his mind.
It
His
doesn't
rationale.
work, Carl. No one can read your mind.
No, but wait, what I mean is, even if, let's assume that you thought she could read your mind, why did you think that there was anything wrong with finding out what you were thinking? Because she'd have known that you knew that she could read minds. So if she read your mind and all you were thinking was she can read my mind, she'd think, what?
Of
He knows
course,
that I can
if
read my
she
mind.
really could read your mind, she's
Yeah, but-
going, there's Carl there trying to make me think that it's the dog. I know he's thinking of the dog.
No, but when you sort of try and think of normal things, you think of mental things, don't you? So I was like,
Oh, hold on, let's let.
Go on.
no, I just mean, like, you're going, oh, God, I best not watch what I'm thinking then.
What were you
Might have been
thinking?
anything.
Tell me some of the mental
No, there
things
was
you might
loads of
think.
things that was in there.
Go
Like,
on.
there was an old woman who used to annoy me in there who used to give me socks all the time. And
Socks.
socks, she used to always
socks.
make loads of socks and she'd be bringing them in. And no matter what I did, no matter how much I sort of said, look, I'm sick of your socks, she kept bringing them in all the time. And they had, like, pictures on and that. I didn't want socks with pictures on. So I might have been sort of stood there going, oh, there she is with the socks, I'm sick of her. Now, if she can sense that, she'll go over to her and go, watch him, stop
doesn't
bringing
like
him
socks,
socks,
yeah.
or whatever.
No one can read minds. No one can contact the dead.
Say like me, right? If I sometimes come in the room and that, and I'm fed up, you go, "Oh, Carl's fed up." I haven't even said anything. So it's just that.
But that's
innit?
because you look like a miserable bastard.
Yeah, and we know what that means. We're human and we understand facial
So
movements
it's a bit like
and moves.
that. It's a bit like that. It's a level down from
No,
that.
no. She should be able to read